Hola amigos, bien o no, y saludos desde Medellín. Hoy el tema es por qué lento puede ser mejor. Why slower can be better. That's el tema de hoy. So, hello again from Medellín. We get a lot of musical interruption. You have to excuse my neighbours. A bit of a party. But okay, the theme for the day: why slower is often better. Well, when we're speaking particularly, something we touched on in the video the other day, where we use our magic phrase, I see, to try and take back control of the conversation when the other person is speaking too fast for us to understand. One of the useful things that we can bring to conversations is if we slow down our pace of speech, if we speak a little bit slower, the other person who's talking to us, or who we're talking with, will subconsciously mirror our speed of speech, and eventually we will get much closer to a happy, kind of easy understandable pace. And it works surprisingly well. It's also very helpful if you're speaking to people who are a little bit annoyed, a bit emotional in different ways. If you're able to practice your speaking voice so you can maintain a fairly calm sound, and particularly just that little bit slower so it's nice and easy to understand, it has a surprisingly calming effect on other people. So it will help to take a lot of that kind of energy out of those conversations, to help return the other person to a calmer, more rested state. And then if we think about it, when we are a little bit more relaxed, generally we don't need to speak so fast because there's less urgency. So this is an interesting thing to practice, and for this I often say practice reading aloud, because practicing reading aloud generally requires you to speak slightly slower, because if we need to project our voice so we're reading aloud and still maintain some type of expression, it's extremely difficult, if not impossible, to speak fast as well. So to maintain a fairly calm, sort of regular pace, practice that, but then look to use that in your normal conversations. Make better use of pauses, like I showed the other day in that one where we say, I see. Because when it's your turn to speak, you're showing the other person in a way what you would like back. So if you stay calm, look cheerful, but speak in a more measured tone and speed of speech, there's less reason for the other person to speak in a fast, aggressive way. And if you continue that process, generally you should calm the other person down a bit, slow them down significantly, and then you will find them easier to understand. And because you understand them better, you again should relax, and then both of you should understand each other better. And that's a win-win, right? So think about that. When you're reading aloud, or when you're practicing your dialogues, think about, am I going a bit too fast? Because sometimes, if we have lots to say, we can be a bit over-enthusiastic, and we could say things a bit too fast. So if I say that last sentence again, sometimes we could be a bit over-enthusiastic and say things a bit too fast. See the difference? Harder to hear, yeah? But if I step back a bit, say it a little bit slower, better pauses, more expression, sound a bit more thoughtful. It's easier for you to understand. Whole thing is much more relaxed. There we go. Okay, so have a think about that. Déjame saber en los comentarios, como siempre. But for now, from Medellin, where the party clearly has started, we'll say cheerio.